So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Hello, people. Can you hear me okay? Put a 1 if you can hear me okay. This is John Waller.
I can hear you just fine, just
Okay,
so you know.
good. All right, you guys, listen to this song a minute. I forgot to send out my text message to my audience.
Like sheep, we have all gone astray. We must choose this day whom we will serve. As for me,
Okay, good.
and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. Idols raised, tear them down. 'Cause we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. To one King we bow down. As for me and my house, we will only serve the Lord.
I love this song. This is one of John Waller's most popular songs.
I'm done with powerless religion.
By the way, thanks for sharing this out. We are going to cover some Pope news. We're going to cover some Obamacare news. I still got a cold, okay? Just so you know. But I can do that news about John Waller, too, which is why I'm playing this song.
Like sheep, we have all gone astray. We must choose this day whom we will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. Idols raised, tear them down. We will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. To one King we bow down. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will cross over.
I should have played you the video, but I didn't think about it until 2 seconds ago. My bad.
We will cross over Jordan. We will claim what you promised. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. Idols raised, tear them down. 'Cause we will serve the Lord. We will serve the Lord. And we will not give our hearts to another. Will not give our hearts to another. We belong to the Lord. Yeah, we will not give our hearts to another. Will not give our hearts to another. We will only serve the Lord. As for me and my house,
All right, there we go. Awesome song, isn't it? I love that song. It's one of my favorite songs of his. So that's John Waller, who I'm taking this out so I don't feel like I'm talking. My ears are blocked, so I'm like, what? I can't hear you. Oh my gosh. Anyway, John Waller has a brand new CD. I got this for immediate release. I love how they send me press releases. It says at the top, for immediate release. You've heard it here first. John Waller releases his first new album in 3 years, people. Explosions of Light from Radiate Music. It's coming out January 25th. So if you're a fan of John Waller, it says here he's known for such inspiring hit singles as Crazy Faith, featured in the box office film War Room, and While I Am Waiting, featured in 2008's #1 independent film Fireproof. And As for Me and My House, The Blessing, and many more, releases his first new album in 3 years called Explosions of Light on Radiate Music, January 25th. He is produced by Grammy-nominated 2-time Dove Award-winning Producer of the Year, Ian Eskelin. And it says here, let me read it. After touring extensively for 10 straight years, I settled into a rut. I began to survive instead of thrive. Everything I said from the stage was something God did in the past, but hardly ever what God was doing now, John admits. Yeah, he did. He admitted it. Following this period of exhaustion, isolation, and even depression, Waller had the opportunity to return to his roots as a worship leader. At the beginning of 2018, he moved his wife and 9 kids, including 3 adopted children, to Yuba City, California, accepting a position as worship pastor for the congregation at Hope Point Nazarene Church. Anyway, he is going to be, let me see here. Do I have an opportunity to interview him? Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I do, actually. All right, put a 1 if you think you'd like me to interview John Waller. And if you guys want me to interview him, I'll ask for an interview, and we'll see if we can get him on the show. I think it'd be fun to interview him. His songs are, actually, they touch me. I like them. I like them a lot, actually. Okay, so also I want to say welcome to everybody. Hi, everybody. I got my voice back. It's a miracle. But like I said, my ears are blocked. And now Bareface, poor little Bareface, has the cold. Do you want to say hi to anybody? No?
I'll just say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Melanie, does that 1 mean you want him? Okay, probably. All right, so I want to share a couple of things with you, and then we'll get into this Obamacare news, and we'll talk about the Pope. We'll do the Pope first because I think that's more fun than that. And I have a Pope defender in the room, so you can do that, Jordan. Hey, Stephen, Joe, Mia, Melanie, other people. I don't know who you are. I don't know if anybody's watching on Facebook, but if you are, I don't know if you are or not. Wait, hold on, let me look. There's probably nobody there. That's my good. Wait, hold on. Wait for it. Nope. Not yet. Anyway, and if you're on YouTube, hi. If you're on the podcast, I hope you enjoy the show because you're watching it, you're listening to the archive. Okay, so here's the thing. My friend and yours, she's been a guest here on Bible News Radio numerous times. Dr. Lisa Sulcente.
I show 2 viewers on YouTube.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. All right. Awesome. Love you guys on YouTube. Okay, so here's the thing. Dr. Lisa Sulcente is a chiropractor, and she is Chessie? Is it Chessie? Okay, I don't know how to say that. But hi. I don't want to say anything wrong. Anyway, Dr. Lisa is a chiropractor, and she is a nutritionist, and she's like into organic stuff, etc., blah blah, etc., blah 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 blah. Anyway, okay. So over the weekend or last week, she and her friend Lisa released a brand new skin line of stuff, and it's called The Kind Body. Okay. By the way, Lisa's not even. She doesn't even know I'm doing this. I'll tell her later I did it. But it's called The Kind Body. Okay, and then this is what it is. This is cool muscle butter. Yeah, it is. And what's in it is shea butter, coconut oil, menthol crystals, eucalyptus oil, and peppermint oil. And Basically, here, I'm going to take off the cap so you can see it. You can't smell it, but you can see it. See, that's what it looks like. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? It smells like eucalyptus and peppermint. But here's the thing. She uses this in her chiropractic office. She sells this for like a muscle rub thing, for pain and stuff. And this one is called Soothing Muscle. It's right here. And this one has coconut oil, ginger oil, black pepper oil, lavender oil, clove bud oil, and eucalyptus oil. And it's all organic, okay? That's why I'm telling you about it. Because a lot of the other stuff that we use, it's not, and it gets into you, and it's got all this fake stuff in it. It's horrible. Not good for you, bottom line. I just got this. I started using it a couple of days ago because of this head cold. And I started putting this stuff on my forehead and on my chest. And this stuff works really good. I mean, so here's the thing. If I'm going to get a deal with Dr. Lisa, she'll give me a discount or something for you guys if you're interested in buying it. Right now, she has a 20% off coupon that you can go to thekindbody.com. I think it is. thekindbody.com. You can go there if you want to buy it. It's like these are $30 each. But with a 20% off coupon, it's less, just so you know. If this is something that is of interest to you, then check it out, okay? We'll tell you more about it later. But I always like to, number one, support my friends in small business. Number two, as an entrepreneur, I want my friends to be blessed, and I want to promote good products. This is handmade. This is even handmade with love. You can see it right there on the label. And she got it to me in 2 days shipping. So that was for free. Okay. All right. The Pope is in the news, just so you know. And since he's probably the number one religious figure in the world, what the Pope says, when he says stuff, people listen to him. And so I'm going to read you this article from the Express website, express.co.uk, just so you know. Why are there so many pink people here? I have no idea what you're talking about. You mean hearts? Okay, anyway. So I saw this headline, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because, because this is the Pope. He's in the news, so I'll just read it. It says here, Pope Francis says, or Pope Francis quote, Lord's Prayer to change as it implies God, quote, induces temptation, unquote. The most famous Christian prayer, the Lord's Prayer, could be changed by the Italian Episcopal Conference, also known as the CEI, after the Pope pointed out its current translation is wrong, as God can't lead humans, quote, into temptation, unquote. The Lord's Prayer, also known as Pater Noster, I guess. I don't know how to say that. I'm just saying it the way I can.
Our Father, basically.
Oh, okay. Has been
It's Latin for our Father.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I know?
Pater Noster.
That's why you're here. Okay, anyway. Has been translated into hundreds of languages from the original text in ancient Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. But the words learned by millions of English and Italian-speaking believers are due to be changed after a 16-year-long research carried out by experts, quote, from a theological, pastoral, and stylistic viewpoint, unquote, found a significant mistake in these translations. According to the project, the line, lead us not into temptation, should be changed to abandon us not when in temptation. Very interesting, huh? This proposal, which has been submitted for approval to the Vatican, is likely to be welcomed by Pope Francis, who last year noted, a father does not lead into temptation. A father helps you to get up immediately. He added, it is not a good translation because it speaks of a God who induces temptation. As pointed out by the pontiff himself, other translations have already been changed both to correct mistakes and to bring into prayers a more modern language. Okay, wait, first of all, I have to say something. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive those who have sinned against us. Something like that. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the
But
power.
deliver us from evil.
Oh, yeah, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. I'm not Catholic, so just so you know, I was, that
It's
was,
not a,
I know. Anyway, so in my life, my whole life, I'm not that old. Well, debatable. I am kind of old. But in the, I don't know, couple times I memorized that and, thought about that. Not one time did I ever think that that was saying that God the Father was leading me into temptation. And so all of a sudden, it took 16 years, 16 years of research to come up with this. I don't know, Bareface. What do you think? I mean, I have a problem with this. Not because,
well, what I think is more interesting
yeah.
is that in context, Yeshua is teaching his disciples. He's telling them when you pray, don't be like the hypocrites standing on the street corners. They think they'll be heard for their many words, and don't avoid vain repetitions and that. And then so often in religious gatherings, everybody all together now, our Father, or never repeat after me, and.
The irony of it all, right?
We call it the Lord's Prayer, but it's not his prayer. It was a template that he provided. Pray in this manner. He didn't say pray these words. It was pray. This is kind of an outline, because they asked him to, teach us to pray. It's okay when you pray. Don't be like the hypocrites. Don't avoid vain repetitions. Pray in this manner, or pray something like this. Here's an outline for you. Recognizing. Your Father in heaven, his sovereignty, his holiness, keeping his name holy, hallowed be thy name, etc. And just sort of an outline, and kind of an outline we see, in the Psalms, to enter his gates with thanksgiving, his course with praise, always starting with recognizing his holiness and that kind of thing. Anyway, so the fact that we are sort of picking at a template that was never meant to be a verbatim prayer itself to begin with, it just humors me a little bit.
I know, but you're so, I'm not sure what the right word is, but you're so cute, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm going to get to your comments in just a second, though. I want to finish the article. So it says here, Pope Francis said, the French have modified the prayer to, quote, do not let me fall into temptation, unquote, because it is me who falls, not the Lord who tempts me to see how I fall. Upon announcing the study on the translation of the Our Father was concluded, a representative from the Episcopal Conference said the bishops intend for the publication of the new edition to be an opportunity to help renew the ecclesiastic community. Liturgical reforms are just a starting point. The renewal shall include ordained ministers as well as the believers. Developments like these are becoming increasingly crucial in the process of Christian initiation, in workshops, and in proposals for the permanent training of the clergy. Spanish-speaking believers have also seen their translation of the prayer changed, with the line, forgive us our trespasses, being turned into forgive us our mistakes. Actually, the word trespass is better than mistakes, but whatever. This prayer is not the only one that has been subjected to changes. One of the first lines of the Glory to God in the highest, also known as Gloria, will be modified, going from peace on earth to men of goodwill to peace on earth to men beloved of the Lord. Okay. I really don't get, honestly, how anybody who clearly reads stuff can actually believe that God is leading people into temptation, and that the Lord Jesus would actually say that to his people, first of all, when in the book of James it says that God is not tempted and he does not tempt anybody. Just saying. So, Okay, so let's look at some comments. I'm going to have to, because Periscope lets me scroll back. Let's see here. All right, we're going to go ahead and scroll back here. Okay. Luke changed the Lord's Prayer from debts to sins. Okay, so this is Jordan's comments. The basic meaning of the text is what is important, not specific words. I disagree. I actually think specific words are very important, the way that it was originally written, because one word can like change the whole meaning of something. But
Well, as originally written would be in Koine Greek. So
right.
just
So
saying.
Jamie Left's Wing says Catholic Church with Kavanaugh will bind Christianity in the USA. And then Jordan goes on to say, I guess it's saying that lead us not into temptation is redundant because God doesn't lead us into, he just wants a revision of the text for new Christians. He doesn't have the authority to change anything. Jay Bucks says, he said, when you don't know what to pray, pray this. Right. Right. He was basically giving what Bareface just said. And then J.D. Kennedy said, looks to me like the Pope doesn't know how to interpret the Bible. Well, that's kind of an understatement. Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah. So that's the news. And it's so easy to refute biblically, because all you got to do is open the Bible up and read it, which the Catholic Church, by and large, does not encourage their people to do, as you all know. Some of you do. All right. So the good news is Obamacare apparently has been overturned. Yeah, it has. Okay. So listen to this. According to, and it's all over the news, so I'm just reading this here. I'm reading
Front Page Magazine.
Front Page Magazine. Obamacare struck down a Christmas present for patriotic, freedom-loving Americans. In an early Christmas gift for freedom-loving Americans, a federal court unexpectedly struck down Obamacare, the massive, failing government health care program that's driving up costs, crushing patient choice, and shortening American lifespans, finding it unconstitutional because the individual mandate penalty that allowed the program to pass constitutional muster no longer exists. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, and the thing is remember, they didn't even read it. They had to pass it in order to read it first.
Find out what was in it.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Okay, anyway, it says here, the common sense ruling this past Friday, December 14th, by Judge Reed O'Connor of the Northern District of Texas, held that in 2017, when Congress effectively repealed the mandate that forced Americans to buy health insurance, that body, quote, sawed off the last leg it, i.e. Obamacare, stood on, unquote. The court finds the individual mandate is essential to and inseverable from the other provisions of the so-called Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, O'Connor wrote. The court decision was celebrated on Twitter by President Donald Trump. Yeah, it was. I know. Let me say it again. President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump. I wonder how many ways I can say it to irritate liberals. President Donald Trump. Yeah, he is. The president happens to be Donald Trump.
Well, to irritate conservatives, the reason that we've had Obamacare, i.e. the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act,
Right.
For so long is because of conservative Chief Justice John Roberts.
Right.
When it went to the Supreme Court and was not holding up as constitutional, this whole individual mandate and stuff, he said, well, now, if it was a tax, wink, wink, then we could find it constitutional. And then the defendants changed their argument all around to make this a tax on the populace, and it withheld the, quote, scrutiny, unquote, of the Supreme Court. So it was going to fail in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But John Roberts gave the president's, defendants a chance to save it. Anyway.
Well, let me finish this article.
All right.
The author of the article says, as I predicted all along, Obamacare has been struck down as an unconstitutional disaster. Now, Congress must pass a strong law that provides great health care and protects pre-existing conditions. After calling the ruling great news for America, Trump exhorted Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican, Kentucky, and soon-to-be Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, California. Wah, wah, wah. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. To get it done. Get her done. Hey, Vicky. Hi, Vicky and Natasha. I saw you guys come in. And Oddvar came in too. Nice to see you. All right. It says here, anyway, the court ruling came a day before the Saturday cutoff for Americans to enroll in federal insurance exchanges authorized by the Obamacare statute. The political legitimacy of the huge government takeover of the American healthcare sector has been long in doubt because it had no GOP support in Congress, although some Republican lawmakers voted for Democrat Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal and Democrat Lyndon Johnson's War on Poverty. Not a single Republican lawmaker voted for Barack Hussein Obama's signature legislative accomplishment, the disastrous Affordable Care Act, because of the Obamacare insurance premiums throughout America have skyrocketed, and bureaucratic red tape has strangled patient choice.
By design.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long and I don't want to waste my voice on all of it. But I'm with the person here who in our chat room just said here, wait, hold on a second. Shady said it won't happen. I actually agree with you. And the reason I agree with you, even though Obamacare has been struck down, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that our Congress is yellow-bellied, and I shouldn't say that so bluntly, but it's true. I think that a lot of the Republicans in our Congress, they're bought and paid for. They don't really care. They don't care that much. If it is, I'll be the first one to come back and go, "Oh my gosh, it's a miracle! Obamacare was shot down. It really did. The Congress did something," but I don't think it will. But we could be optimistic. I'm a realist, though, just so you know. Yeah, I am. All right, meanwhile, there's this other article I'm going to read, and this is over on LifeSite News, and it's titled, wait for it. Here it is. Gay TV producer announces he's spending millions of dollars to defeat, quote, anti-LGBT, unquote, members of Congress. This is a couple days old, but this is what it says. It's no secret that Hollywood heavily favors Democrats and left-wing causes, and homosexual TV producer Ryan Murphy is the latest prominent entertainment figure to begin throwing his weight around the electoral sphere. Yeah, he is. The sphere. Remember that. It's a sphere now. The man behind American Horror Story, Glee, Nip and Tuck. Yeah, it's this dude to blame for all those things. And more announced his latest plans this past weekend during a Trevor Live gala in Los Angeles. Trevor Live is an annual event by an LGBT youth suicide prevention group called the Trevor Project. Murphy's remarks detailed a far more radical objective, however. In 2020, I'm going to create and fund with corporate sponsorship a multi-million-dollar organization that targets anti-LGBTQ candidates running for office. Murphy announced, according to Town Hall, Senate and congressional candidates who think they can get votes hurting and discriminating against us, well, we can get votes too. Calling the initiative Pose Gives Back. Is it Pose, Randall, or is it Posse? No.
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Pose. I guess P-O-S-E is Pose, right? Okay. Anyway, after his current transgender heavy show, Pose. Okay, it must be Pose. Like it must be. Okay, anyway, it's Pose. Anyway. Murphy singled out Republicans, Representative Steve King of Iowa and Senator Susan Collins of Maine as examples of, quote, hateful and wrong politicians. Quote, he wants to, quote, stop polluting our moral and ethical ether.
Is that for dramatic pause?
That's dramatic pause. I'm sorry. I just have a real hard time when people who stand against and for Scripture, or stand against homosexuality and for Scripture, what the Bible says that, homosexuality is referred to as an abomination in Scripture. which I would say is actually, like, what do you say? I don't mean this in a mean way, but I would say it's immoral. Whatever. King is an avowed social conservative who has provoked left-wing ire for insisting his fellow Republicans remain opposed to the LGBT agenda. Collins, a pro-abortion lawmaker who has supported same-sex, quote, marriage, unquote, since 2014, is a curious target for pro-homosexual activists, though she most recently angered her fellow social liberals by helping confirm Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, you might remember Brett Kavanaugh, all the horrible things he did. Yeah, just so you know. Yeah. Anyway, Murphy continued that he was inspired to see, quote, over 20 anti-LGBT right-wing politicians and their horrifying views gone in a day, unquote, in November's midterm congressional elections. A record number of LGBT candidates ran for office this election cycle, with the winners including bisexual Democrat Kyrsten Sinema for Senate, homosexual Democrat Jared Polis for governor of Colorado, and lesbian Democrat Sharice Davids for House of Representatives. Democrat, quote, Christine, unquote, Hallquist, a man who, quote, identifies as female, lost to pro-abortion Republican Phil Scott in the Vermont governor's race, in case you didn't know that. We are going to send a message which says you cannot make discrimination against us a political virtue anymore. No, you can't. You can't. It's against our law. Murphy threatened this. Yeah, he did. He threatened it. Anyway, you can't keep killing our vulnerable young people by promoting and nationalizing your rural closed-minded, anti-constitutional viewpoints.
Sexual anarchy is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. Don't you know that?
Oh, it gets better. The suggestion that opposing LGBT agenda items somehow encourages homosexual teens to commit suicide is particularly noteworthy, considering that former Trevor Project interim CEO David McFarland admitted in 2011 that activist heavy media showcasing of disproportionate rates of suicide and incidences of bullying that affect LGBT young people can actually increase the risk of suicide by influencing someone who is at risk to assume that taking your own life is what you're supposed to do next if you are LGBT or bullied. Yeah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the point is that there's a homosexual TV producer who's mad and who wants to go after everybody that opposes his agenda. This is nothing new, people. It's nothing new. If you haven't been to YouTube yet and watched my Marketing of Homosexuality to America series, it's like 8 or 10 hours or something. I forgot how long it is. But I use their playbook to explain what they're doing. And this side, I mean, the left has no lack of funding, okay? It's the right, and this is what irritates me. The godly people, or so-called godly people, they don't put their money into combating this. How is it that 1 to 3% of the population, which is the actual statistic from the homosexual lobby of people who identify in that camp, LGBTQ and all these other letters after that, okay? I mean, I can't even believe I'm even saying Q now, because it used to be just LGBT. Now I gotta say Q, and pretty soon it'll be P, P, I, O, U, Z, B. Oh, B's already in there, but whatever. You know what I mean? So the question is, you know, where are all the Christians and the conservatives putting their money behind, you know, trying to stop the bullying? I mean, let's put it that way. That's really what it is. It's bullying. It's financial bullying. But you know what? Hey, I'm of the belief that anybody should be able to throw money anywhere that they want, right? You should. You should be able to put your money wherever you want to put it. Nobody should mandate where you put it or anything. And it's like, okay. I'll give you $5 million to oppose Bible News Radio. It won't even take that long. It won't take that much. Maybe $10,000. We're that much of a threat. Yeah, we are. Anyway. Okay, I actually have some other news. But the first other thing I want to do is say that I actually have here a Christmas miracle I want to share with you. But we got to thank my sponsor, Ariel Ministries. And this is the best time of the show to do it because it's right at the bottom of the hour, give or take. Ariel is a wonderful biblical ministry. And this month only, you can save 30% on anything in the store when you buy $30 or more of product from them. Okay, usually it's 20% off discount, but this month it's 30% with $30 if you spend it. And we've given you a lot of resources. You can actually go to BibleNewsRadio.com, look at our resources page, and there's a whole bunch of things there that you can look at that we recommend to you. I recommend, if you are following Randall's Bible study, where he does Weekends in the Word, he's using the book, The Highlights of the Life of Christ from a Jewish Perspective, the abridged version. That's a great study tool. And if you really want to grow in your walk with the Lord and in the Word of God, this is a good thing to get because it's the Word of God explained. I mean, in the context in which it's written. Also, if you want to support our show in any way, besides just simply donating to us whenever you feel like it, we do have books you can buy. We got The Gospel of the Holocaust and Isaiah 53. This is an excellent book. I mean, the cover is I have to admit, it's kind of a boring cover, but the content is really good. $10 at our store there. And we also have Doug Hershey's book on Israel. This book here, The Christian's Biblical Guide to Understanding Israel, for $9 or a donation of over $9, whatever it is you want to give us, you can give it to us. And when you buy from my store this month or whenever, I will also throw in some Bible News Radio tattoos for you. All the reason to get something is so that you can wear my logo on your skin and violate scripture by tattooing yourself.
No, I was going to say it's on your skin, not in. The scripture.
Just kidding.
I know the scripture prohibits making markings in your flesh.
Okay, well, this is just on your flesh. So yeah, hey, this truly is Bible News Radio tattoo. I gave them all to my kids at Awana last night. Got plenty of those to give away. So there you have it. Oh, and Paul is over on Facebook. Let's see what he say. Under the weather, no voice, just woke up. Okay. All right. Well, good news that you can type. I couldn't hear you if you talked anyway, just so you know. Okay. All right. What else? Am I forgetting something else? Oh, yeah. Legal Shield, people. Here's the good news about Legal Shield. It will protect you. Yeah, it will. And if you want to make some extra money, and I'm dead serious, if you really want to make some extra money, even if you already have a job, I could show you how Legal Shield will complement your current job. True story. You guys, by the way, I should give you a big, huge thank you. Thank you to all of you. I see so many of you in the room who actually helped me to win last month's core prospecting contest. I was one of the top 25 prospectors in the whole company, which was super awesome. And I won a Profiles of Success book from Legal Shield. It was so cool. Yeah, it was a lot of work. And I really want to give a shout out to my friend Vicky Hankey. Vicky rocked it. She gave me like her whole family. At midnight, she's like, "Oh wait, hold on." Vicky, you're cracking me up. Anyway, so I was able to prospect a whole bunch of people, and I won that book. And I really want to thank you for that because I love books. And the particular book that they sent me is actually, it's called the 2018 Profiles of Success for Legal Shield. And so what it is it's really testimonies from all of the top sellers in Legal Shield in 2018. Okay, so I was and I'm going to read some of them to you guys later to just kind of show you. There are pastors who have sold, made a successful side career of helping people, with this membership. And that's the thing I got to really pound through your head. I'm pounding this through your head, okay? Legal Shield is not a gimmick, okay? It's not true. It's insurance, and it's helpful insurance. Everybody needs it, and everybody can afford it. Everybody can afford this. Nobody can't afford it. Hey, if I can afford it, you can afford it. Trust me. You cannot not afford it, especially when it comes to your identity theft protection. You guys, every single day I am reading articles talking about identity theft, and it is insane to me how many people, how many stories I'm reading of the various ways people are stealing people's identity. And right now, it's the holiday season. It's Christmas season, okay? It's not the holiday season. It's Christmas, okay? And everybody's going to be shopping last minute. You guys are shopping online, various things. And right now, the identity theft people, the criminals, are actually ramping up to steal all the identities they stole about 90, a year and a half ago. Those people who had their data breached and their stuff was stolen about a year and a half ago, the criminals now are using that stuff to make those people's lives hell. Just so you know. Now, what's going to happen now? In April, around tax season, guess what? You're going to get hit there too. So this is my advice. Look, I've always been a protector of the underdog. I've always been, out there on the front lines warning people about stuff. Get protected before you need it. Okay? Get your stuff monitored before something happens. I've signed up about 30 people in 5 months. Okay? And I'm telling you this, the reason why is because when you really look at what I'm trying to tell you about, you'd be foolish not to do it, because everybody's been breached, okay? Facebook has been breached, Marriott has been breached, Target, everybody has been breached. And your stuff is out there, so don't be foolish. Be wise. Be like a wise person that built his house on a rock. Protect yourself. It's not that expensive. And here's the best part. The best part is when you do it, you get perks. And the perks will pay for your membership. I keep trying to tell people, I keep reminding everybody, go into your perks. Those of you who are already members, go in there and use your perks. Well, but I don't see anything that I can use in there. Go look harder. There's perks in there you can use. Trust me. Me and Bareface, I think we've saved over $600-700 now using perks. True story. That has paid for my membership for well over a year. A couple years. Just from using perks, okay? But the Legal Shield membership itself, ID Shield, look, if you're a pastor of a church, you can get it and you can tell people about it in your church. Protect people in your church. You need a will. If you're over 18, you need a will. If you're a parent, you have kids under 18, you need Legal Shield to get your will done and get those kids protected as they begin to drive and get speeding tickets, because you'll get help with that. Unlimited legal counsel, people. Unlimited. Hello. I don't know how many of you got $500 or $300 to call up every time. Hey, lawyer, I need some advice. For $24.95 a month, you get your whole family protected. True story. And you could talk to a lawyer if you're bored. You can call them up, say, hey, I have a legal question, and make something up. And they'll talk to you. Just saying. Randall has had 2 eBay issues he's had to deal with Legal Shield and get their help. I had somebody rip me off on Periscope. I used Legal Shield to have them write me a letter. There's so many reasons you just need it, okay? And I'm not kidding you. So get in touch with me after the show. Let's get you all signed up, okay? Make that your Merry Christmas gift to yourself. Protect yourself before you need it. You know what? It's the best and most affordable insurance you can get. And if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't sell it. Just so you know. All right. Okay, now let's get to the good news. Hold on a minute, though. A Christmas miracle has taken place. Hold on a minute. I was afraid this might happen. Too bad we don't have a rollout commercial to go to at this point. Okay. You want to cut to somewhere else for a minute?
Sure. Please stand by. I could put my face up there.
Yeah, I got it. All of a sudden, I got this stupid tickle in my throat.
All of a sudden, she's got this stupid tickle in her throat, and so you should try to deal with that.
Yeah.
And
Well, you can read the story.
Yeah, I can read the story.
Go ahead, you read it, and I gotta get some water.
All right. As Stacy goes to get some water, I'm going to read an article. We can read it together from LifeSite News. Title is Christmas Miracle. Mall overturns nativity set ban after Christians protest with living a nativity. And I've got my pointer up there, which is kind of distracting. So let me get rid of that, shall we? Excuse me. She's got the tickle in her throat, and I've got whatever. I got all this stuff going on in my head. Anyway, so out of Stirling, Scotland, December 12th, read a shopping mall in Scotland has overturned its ban on displaying a Christmas nativity scene after Christians protested the decision by staging a living nativity right within the mall. Thistle Centre in Stirling released a statement today saying that they had changed their minds and would allow a representative from the Legion of Mary to set up a nativity scene as part of their Christmas decor. We've listened carefully to everyone who contacted us about the installation and have decided to reverse our original decision, it said. We have offered Mrs. Patterson the opportunity to host a nativity scene at the center this Sunday in line with her original request, and we are delighted that she has accepted, it continued. Thistle's Center's decision not to permit the display on the grounds that it Thistle Center's decision not to permit the display on the grounds that it prides itself on being religiously and politically neutral made national headlines and was covered on LifeSite News. Both the Catholic Archdiocese of St. Andrews and Edinburgh and the Church of Scotland had voiced disappointment in the mall's Grinch-like decision. On Monday, Scottish Catholics John Mallon and Elena Feek, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm not Scottish, just so you know, though I do have Welsh in my ancestry. Anyway, John and Elena protested actively by visiting the mall dressed as St. Joseph and the Blessed Virgin Mary. Malton chatted with shoppers and discussed the crib controversy with them. A video of the dynamic duo looking for a place then has been viewed thousands of times on social media. John Malton is delighted by Thistle's change of heart. But I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to read the rest of the article. But kind of clever on their part, that that they're saying, well, you can't have a nativity display. And it's like, okay, we won't have a nativity display. We'll just be a living nativity. And lots of congregations do that, on the grounds. And so, but then they just show up. I mean, what's the prohibition to showing up at a shopping center wearing first century type clothing? Really none. I mean, I'm sure they don't have a dress code as long as you're not, any kind of exhibitionist or something like that. So, and I'm sure that drew a bigger crowd, them just walking through the mall dressed that way. Didn't say they had any live animals around or anything like that. If she'd come in riding on a donkey, that would have been great. But yeah, it's like here, we don't want to offend anybody, make any waves by having this nativity. We're, pride ourselves on being religiously and politically neutral.
You know what?
Yeah. By being politically correct. And then so this man and this woman, they walk in their costumes and the blowing up on social media and all that. Here they were. Yeah, anyway, it's kind of funny.
You know what I like about that, though?
What's that?
And this gets to our leadership tip of the day. Actually, it's not really a leadership tip, but I felt like saying that. It's just a tip? It's just a tip. Well, here's the thing. How can I? I have to talk well right now of Vicky Fitch. My mentor.
You don't have to, but you will.
Look, she's one of my best friends, right? Here's the thing. Vicky is a good coach. If you listen to her, she'll actually kick you in the butt. And she will actually tell you stuff. And if you actually listen to her, you'll actually grow in your life, like I have. I know. When it comes to your mindset and whether or not you can do something, what these people did, instead of being told no, you know what, hey, you can't do this, whatever, blah, 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 it was important enough to them to figure out how they could. Somebody asked, how can I do this? I have to give Vicky credit for, pounding that into my head. And that goes for anything, right? Whether you're trying to sell a house or Legal Shield or anything, if you're motivated, whatever your true motivation is, how can you do it? How can I do it? And one of the things I appreciate about Vicky is that she shares her testimony often about how she was married for 1 year to an alcoholic drug addict who left her high and dry, ran up all her credit cards, all this stuff. And she was young. I mean, she was I think she was like 20 or 21 when that happened, right? That's young, frankly. And most people don't even own a house at that age like she did. And their own company, let alone, I mean, she bought her house and then 6 months later, I think it was, she quit the company she was working for to start her own company. Okay, so this is a woman who's been gifted with the gift of entrepreneurship and who's really driven. So it's from somebody who had no choice but to get it done. That's why, how can I get my bills paid? How can I market something better? How can I share the gospel with more people this month? I mean, let me ask you this. This is something that's been kind of floating out in my mind. A number of you email me and you tell me your career goals, your aspirations, and you know who you are. I'm not going to say your names because there's a few of you. And you're stuck in the old way of thinking about the situation that you're in. And I'm being vague on purpose because there's more than one of you, and I'm not kidding you. There's more than one of you that emails me stuff like this. And Vicky always says, get outside the 5,000, right? Get outside the 5,000. Don't stop thinking and looking and doing everything else that everybody else is doing. Get outside the 5,000. Look over there. Or something. Ask yourself, how can I really get to this goal? If your life depended on it, could you do it? If, for example, something tragic happened to Bareface, and let's say he ends up, crippled and in bed and whatever, I would have to figure out a way to support us wholeheartedly. I mean, I would do it. I would go out of my way. If I had to work 5 jobs, sell Legal Shield, whatever, I would do whatever it took to make sure Randall was cared for, because he's my best friend and my husband. But he's my husband first, then my BFF. But anyway, I would do if my dog Grover was, the only way I could feed him is to sell Legal Shield. I would be hitting the pavement every day. I'd be like, if that was the only way. Okay, this is hypothetical. I know that I could go to a pet place and they probably give me dog food, but that's not the point. The point is, the nativity people, they're like, hey, I'm not going to get stopped because some knucklehead is saying no to me on this particular incident. This isn't even a immoral issue. I just want to see the nativity. That's not horrible. So the question is, how can you reach your goal? How can you sell your house? How can you get a new job? How can you do what it is that you're putting off that you always have these excuses for? When you answer that question and you decide to move forward and take a step, even though it's uncomfortable, you will move forward. You will. And I'm speaking now as a therapist. I counsel people for years, right? And I can tell you, there's mandated people that came in and motivated. Those are the only types that came in. People who were forced to be there and people who wanted to be there on their own. And guess who changed? It was the people who wanted to be there. Okay? So if you really want something, then the only person that's stopping you from getting it is you. And that's the truth. Because, and I always go back to this, and you can hate me or love me for it, but I don't care. if a drug addict will do whatever they want to get that drug, then you can do whatever you want to get what it is that you claim you want. Where you put your mind to doing something is what's going to follow. You know, it's funny to me because Mel Robbins, who's very popular, she wrote the book The 5-Second Rule, which is a very good book, and I love her actually. Vicky actually recommended the book to me. I read it. I thought, this is such a great book. It really is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. You know, I mean, it's 5 seconds to make a decision, right? To either stay stuck or to move forward. Well, what cracks me up about Mel Robbins is there's nothing new that she's saying. It's just how she presents it to people. And she has a brand new, she's not asking me to promote this because she doesn't even know who I am, but she has a brand new coaching thing she's doing. It's called the Mindset Reset, I think is what it is. And it's free. Just go sign up for it. It's called the Mindset Reset. She'll send you stuff to help you reset your mind and help you get unstuck, because that's 99% of the problem with anybody who's trying to accomplish anything is they're stuck. It's because of how they're thinking about it, you know, in the situation. So back to my other point, which was this. With Legal Shield, we have these contests. Share this video out and let's see if you can win a prize. You know, share the opportunity with somebody and see what happens. Okay, so I have a challenge. My challenge is share Christ with somebody and see what happens. You know, I challenge you this Christmas season, talk to any and everybody you can about who Jesus Christ is, and talk about how he is truly the reason for the season, right? I mean, Jesus is, quote, the reason for the season. Without him, we wouldn't even be celebrating Christmas. And as Christians, our priority should be Christ, right? Don't you think? And yet, well, I don't know how to talk about anything. Really? Because you can talk about that dumb TV show you watched the other night. You open the Bible, read it. Say, hey, have you ever read blah, 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 blah? Piece of cake. Go to your local newsstand or bookstore that has a gazillion news magazines on them. Magazines in there. Look at the covers. I guarantee you're going to find something about Christmas and Jesus on there because they always mock him at Christmas time. And then you can look at the cover and go, interesting. A new discovery. Was Jesus really born in Bethlehem? Let's see what the liberal writer of this article wrote. You can read it. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just that we get tricked and deceived into thinking we can't do it, or I can't do that. I can't. Why can't you? Because you're choosing not to. That's why. You have a choice. We all have a choice. That's one of the best things about being human. God gave us free will. You know, I mean, it's true. So that's for free for anybody that needed it. So, you know, and I'm preaching to myself too. Look, there's areas I need, you know, I'm like, really? Ugh. But the truth is that if you want something bad enough, you'll get it, right? It's true. And fear, Hannah, you're absolutely right. Fear of embarrassment, but it's really fear of whatever. You fill in the blank. Fear is the big thing, right? And honestly, that's one of the biggest things I've learned from Vicky is you know, the fear is what really holds most of us back because we're afraid of being embarrassed. We're afraid that people won't like us. I'll tell you what one of my big fears is. I hate it. You know, I know some of you probably think, oh, you know, doing this show is so easy for you, or selling Legal Shield is a piece of cake. You've sold all that, blah, 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 blah. You know what one of my biggest fears is? Bugging people too much with follow-up. I hate it. I hate it. And yet, here's the truth. Those of you who are my associates and who may want to be one, when you're selling something, it takes an average of 7 touches with that person before they'll sign up. And that's actually been my experience, by the way. Most of you didn't sign up with me because I called you up and said, hey, will you buy Legal Shield from me? Most of you didn't donate to our show because I said, hey, can you donate one time? No. Most of you listened to me for a year or two before you gave me money, right? So it's all about that relationship, right? And in my new book, Pickleball Faith, the big premise of my book, Pickleball Faith, is the relationship is the cure, as my mentor, Dr. Paul Alexander, said. The relationship with Christ is the cure for everything. But when it comes to sales, you have to have the ability and the gumption to continue to go forward, because you're going to be rejected. It's just part of life, right? But it's not you. If you can just get beyond that and realize this isn't you, it's not, well, maybe it is you. And if it is you, then you got to figure out what that is and make sure that people don't reject, you change. But by and large, people don't like change. That's a fact. Which is why every year on January 1st, everybody makes New Year's resolutions, and then by January 15th, they're all broke. True story, because people don't like change. That's why people are apathetic, because they don't like change. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're Obama fans, hope and change. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I had to say that. But no, I'm being serious. Most people, change is difficult for most people. It's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. For example, and I know I'm going over barefaced, but, I didn't broadcast last week, so I got to talk a little bit, right? So here's the thing. People don't like change because they don't like the unknown. And a lot of times people don't like the unknown because they're afraid of what it is, what's going to happen. Well, you don't know until you try. It could be the best thing ever in your whole entire life, but you'll never know unless you actually try, right? I'll give you a silly example, but I'll give you a real life example of something that I was terrified of. You're going to laugh at this. I promise you will laugh at this. Make sure you share this out right now if you want to make sure that everybody knows something that I actually was so afraid of trying when I was a kid. I'm waiting. I don't know if I've ever shared this on the air either, but I moved to California when I was 7 years old. I turned 8 a couple months later. And my mother was very, well, she didn't really like change, but, she made a huge life change by moving us from New York to California. Long story short, we were raised on welfare, and by the time I was in high school, my mom had made sure that we were receiving public assistance aid, so food stamps and school vouchers, so that we could actually get the cafeteria meal for the high school students who were needy, right? And I mean, like I said, my mom was on welfare. I'm proof you cannot be on welfare, even if you were raised in it. So one day, I went to the cafeteria to get my food, and I ordered, on average, this thing called a taco snack. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of a taco snack, but a taco snack was basically ground beef and stuff in it. It was just, a snack. That's all it was. I remember this. I went up to the lady, and she's like, "What would you like?" And I said, "I would like my normal taco snack, please." And the lady said, "I'm sorry, but we're out." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" I mean, you're out of taco snacks. You're kidding. Okay, well, what else do you have? That's what she said. She said, "Well, we have a bean burrito." And I said, I don't think I like bean burritos. She's like, "Well, that's all we got." And so I was like, okay, well, okay. And I was given my very first bean burrito. Now, I'm sharing this story. It sounds silly, but it's actually a true story. I lived in California since I was 7 years old. By the time I was in high school, I was about 16 years old when this incident took place, okay? I lived in California from 7 to, let's say, 16 before I ate a bean burrito. And the reason why is because my mom didn't like how the refried beans looked and prejudged those bean burritos on its taste and how horrible it was. And because I believed my mom, I looked at them, I was like, ooh, yeah, ugh, I don't want that either. I never tried Mexican food prior to that. And yet, I have to say that I missed out on all those years of awesome Mexican food, because Mexican food is like my favorite food. I would rather have Mexican food over any other food out there, right? I mean, I love Mexican food. I love salsa. I love chips. I love bean burritos. I love pretty much everything Mexican that there is for the most part, minus any fish in it. I don't like fish at all. But so anyway, I share that because I could have had great, delicious Mexican food for all those years, and I didn't because I was too afraid. And it wasn't until I was forced to actually eat a bean burrito and found out that I actually liked it that I did, you know? And so that's my point. My point is, don't wait until you're forced to do something. If you have a dream or something, go for it. You know what I mean? Just pursue it. Take a little baby step. Stop saying I can't or making these excuses, because that's baloney and you know it. You're better than that. You can do whatever the heck it is you want to do, right? Those of you who remember rhinoceros success, you know, there's the rhinos and the cows. You're a rhino. You're not a cow. Cows go like this. Moo. That's a congested cow. But still, you know, cows are like, they're like followers. They're like boring. But a rhino is somebody who's like going to charge ahead, you know, and they see their goal and they're not going to let anything get in their way. They're just going to go for it. Right? So there you go. That's my pep talk for the day. Compliments of Vicky Fitch training, by the way. But anyway, so tomorrow we will be back with more inspiration for you people. And I really mean that. Follow me on Instagram today. Don't forget, go over there, Bible News Radio on Instagram. I posted some more footage of me playing pickleball today because I was so good today. Actually, I really wasn't, not that first game, which is what was videotaped. So if you want to see me missing the ball numerous times, go watch my Instagram story today. I think you'll like it. And don't forget, follow me on my text messages. Text 33222. Text Bible News to 33222. 33222. And then you'll get on my text message list. And then you can hear from me that way too. All right? So that's it. Anybody have anything else to say? Any comments? Did I miss anybody? Who said Obamacare was reversed? It is in the news. Go look it up. We read the article. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I guess that was it. Okay. All right, you guys. So be bold. Stand up. Go with God because He loves you. Pray for Bareface. Keep me in prayer too. Obviously, I need it because I'm with Bareface and he's with me and all that. So hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you later. Bye.